All right. Good afternoon.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
I know how much you guys prepared during the week offensively. And yet you end up first half yesterday, 70 yards, 17 plays. How is that possible with the talent that you have?
Yeah, it's not good enough. First of all, we've got to. I mean, it's obvious we got to do better. We got to coach better. We got to play better, and there's got to be that sense of urgency by everybody. I think going into any game, to start fast, to execute better, and quite frankly, that's the bottom line.
It's not a new problem. I mean, it's something that we've kind of talked about on a lot of Mondays. The slow starts. Has it been difficult that you guys haven't even been able to solve that problem through 14
Yeah,
weeks?
it's been difficult because it's not showing up on the field. So again, it goes back to, how am I teaching plays? How am I teaching the openers? And I put a lot of that on myself, because I'm the one calling the play, and I got to start with that.
What was the thinking behind the option plays for Carson? There's a 3rd and 1, and then there's.
Oh, it was a well-designed play. We anticipated in their short yardage front for 90 to spike and to come inside a lane. That's what we expected, a pirate stunt. And he actually, we were going to combo between him and Zach up to the backer, and then we were going to basically just option right off at 38. And it was 3rd and 1, and Carson could have dove and got the first down, but 90 didn't spike. He actually stayed on lanes outside. So, just a great play by the Cowboys.
It's a year ago today that Carson Wentz tore his ACL, tore his LCL. Where have you seen him progress as a young quarterback coming back from that injury, and where do you feel like you still want to see him move forward?
Well, one, I think for me and really for him, I think, the mental journey coming back from an injury for any player. I think of Sproles, I think of Jason Peters, Jordan Hicks, guys that we missed last year that are back, and Carson's the same. So I think of the mental aspect of that and how well they worked in the offseason to get themselves back ready to play this year. And now just moving forward, you see where all of those guys are, they're playing, they're back out there playing. I do believe that sometimes these injuries could, from the standpoint of in Carson's case, missing the first 2 games and then he really kind of missed training camp, and but now he's feeling good. He's feeling as healthy as he's ever been. Sproles is feeling the same way. I know JP has fought through a couple other injuries, but he's pretty much feeling the same way. But it's that mental journey, I think, to get back to this point where they feel comfortable and confident in what they're doing.
So as far as injuries, is he mentally there?
Yeah, totally, 100%.
There's no after effects at all from the knee. He's playing. Is it physically? Do you see the mobility that you saw last year?
I think what you're seeing is he's had the ability to do that this year. He has escaped the pocket. I think if you're referring to yesterday's game, part of the sacks were just the collapse of the pocket and keeping him in the pocket. So there really were no running lanes yesterday to escape.
As far as injuries, Corey Clement, Josh Sweat, and Isaac Simon, where are they?
Corey Clement, we're still waiting on a couple of MRI results to come back today, so we'll find out more later today. I'll probably have an update for you on Wednesday for sure. Isaac is going to be day-to-day, quite frankly, with his pec. Who was the other one?
And Josh Sweat.
Josh Sweat, same thing. Still waiting on pending MRI result to come back.
Doug, your thoughts been on Carson's accuracy yesterday and over the past few weeks?
I think it could. He's been good. I wouldn't say it's been great. I'd say he's been good. He's made. You look at the 4th quarter yesterday, and it was great. And and accuracy comes in many forms. It's not necessarily the quarterback. I have to factor in route running. I have to factor in coverage. I got to factor in protection. There's all kinds of aspects that go into accuracy for a quarterback. And one of the things that I think Carson over his 3 years has gotten really good. He's gotten better at it. I think that's something that he's worked on. Press has worked on it, with him. Obviously, the last couple of seasons. So it's improving, and he's really done he's really made. I mean, you look at that throw he threw to Dallas. Well, 2 throws he threw to Dallas. He threw a corner route and then he threw that seam route. And those balls were laser throws, pinpoint accuracy, and that's where he's at, and that's what he's doing.
Last year, the decision to not go for 2, to kick the extra point there at the end, that would seem the prudent thing to do. You get the tie, you send your defense back out there. How do you square that with the advantage that being aggressive in those situations really seemed to give you guys last year, and just that moment of, hey, we can take the lead here and put the pressure back on them?
I mean, if we make an extra point, we have the lead. I look at that too. I got to look at everything. I can't just look at one situation. I got to look at the entire pie. So the 2-point conversion, and I got a report on this, and I can't off the top of my head think of exactly the numbers, but everything was in favor of going for 1. And even we had the discussion on the field during the penalty timeout, so to speak, to make that decision. And with Dallas having 1 minute and 39 seconds, I think, left, with 2 timeouts, it changes. So had we, follow me here, 2 situations, go for it, go for 2. Obviously, you make the 2-point conversion, you're up 1, right? Dallas has 2 timeouts and every down available to stay on the field and kick a game-winning field goal, right? Obviously, if we don't make it, chances are game's probably over, right? We kick it, we tie. Now, Dallas still has 2 timeouts. Now they're not as likely to go for it on 4th down, right? There's a chance now, 4th and 8, that they say, you know what, we're going to punt the football, and we only have 1 timeout at the time, with maybe no time left, and you're still playing for overtime. So for the decision now, the decision to go for 1 obviously favors us, and it gives us a better chance of winning that football game than it did for 2.
You said last year it was 60-40 in favor of converting, and you called it a no-brainer last year.
Well, the one was it after the Carolina game?
Yeah, are the numbers different this year?
And that was in the 3rd quarter.
No.
This is inside 2
But
minutes.
in terms of the conversion rate from the one.
Rates are about the same. Percentage-wise, they're about the same.
Okay, but that gets back to my point, which is, you wrote a book titled Fearless. I mean, going for it in the 3rd quarter, it seems, is far less fearless than going for it and putting it out there with the game on it. You see what I mean?
I understand what you're saying, but again, with 2 timeouts and all 4 downs, and we hadn't really stopped them. We can spin this thing, 100 different ways, really. I don't know. I still stand by my decision, and plus with the high kick, we're going to pin them inside the 20. I think they got the ball at the 17-yard line, and we were still able to stop them and go into overtime. Now, and so it does change just a little bit in those situations. End of game situations are different than 3rd quarter situations. They're totally different, and so we played the percentages at the end of the game, right? And quite frankly, gave us the best chance of winning that game.
Very end of the 4th quarter, you guys got that sack with 10 seconds left. Did you think about calling timeout to force them to punt?
No, because they weren't going to call theirs at that point.
But you could have called timeout to force them to punt.
Well, they were going to probably kick it in the end zone anyway, and then you end up kneeling on it, and you're out of timeouts and 4 seconds left. No.
Sidney Jones was mentioning after the game yesterday that, obviously his hamstring wasn't 100% and everything like that. Just kind of what was it like for him out there, trying to guard Amari Cooper, and what's his status going into
Yeah, Amari is obviously a tremendous receiver, and he's done some great things there for Dallas, and okay, yeah, I got to be careful because. Amari's a great receiver, and he's hard to defend. And early in the game, I thought Sidney did a nice job defending a couple passes, a couple tackles in there. So you'll have to continue to ask Sidney on the rest of it.
Doug, what happened to Jalen Mills' foot?
Jalen Mills. we were very optimistic that Jalen was gonna get better, and it just wasn't there. Giving him every opportunity each week to continue to rehab and work it out, and it's just unfortunate that it wasn't where he wanted it to be, where we wanted it to be, and so we made the decision.
As far as we could tell for weeks, and then all of a sudden he was. What changed?
Yeah, I just think through the rehab and different things and a couple of MRI and X-ray results that it was best to put him back in the boot and see if it could help promote some healing and just immobilize it for a while.
Sydney, are you able to get an accurate assessment and evaluation on him this year on Sydney because of the injury?
Well,
what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's hard. I mean, it's tough to get a true evaluation, but we know, we knew the player we were getting based on what we saw in college, and he's a tremendous corner. I mean, he's a good cover corner, and I think that, for any player that's dealing with injury, you focus on that just a little bit, and it can pull you away from playing at a high level at times, and I think that's where, I can appreciate guys that, and Sydney was one of them, that guys that each week, everybody's a little banged up, a little sore, going through stuff, and for them to battle through it, be out there, practice every day, and put themselves out there for the team, I think is a credit to each player, and Sydney's one of those guys.
On the opening kickoff, you challenge. Correct me if I'm wrong, and I very well could be, but you guys challenged that he was down before he fumbled. They overturned that, and then they decided that there was no clear recovery. But since they overturned it, shouldn't you have not lost your timeout? How does that work? Because the challenge was actually successful because you challenged whether he was down before he fumbled.
The challenge was the fumble and clear recovery of the ball.
Play, right?
Yeah. So we ended up.
So they overturned. They said it was a fumble.
It was a true fumble, but there was no clear recovery. So that was the explanation I got, and so we ended up losing the challenge and the timeout.
After looking at that, though, Doug, and after hearing the way your players responded after the game, and then after hearing the fans and how upset really everyone is, because that call could have changed the whole complexion of the game. What are your thoughts today, the day after? You weren't too hard at the rest last night.
I'm going to stand by my statement last night. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and criticize. That's not my place. We have an opportunity. We have a protocol that we can use to turn in plays on a Monday. Listen, I know it doesn't help us. It doesn't change the output of the football game. It is what it is there, but there are plays that we want to get a ruling on and just see if what we thought was correct or inaccurate, and so we've done that on several plays. We're still waiting on some input back on that, and it's unfortunate.
You talked about Carson's improved accuracy, and yet his average pass per length has dropped from 9.91, an average of 9.91 yard per attempt, to 7.68. How do you explain that?
I'd have to look at all the attempts and see if it's design, if it's scheme.
Is he taking too much underneath? Is he not trying to push the ball downfield enough?
Well, again, without looking at the coverage dictates where the ball goes. Blitz dictates where the ball goes. If it's down the field, he's going to throw it down the field. I mean, you got to play quarterback in this league. You can't. Every play can't be designed to get you 20-plus yards. I mean, that's foolish.
So you're saying that defenses are taking away the deep ball?
Defenses are playing defense. You're confusing to me because if you play quarterback in this league, the mentality is you take what the defense gives you. That's the mentality. And if it happens to be a back or a tight end underneath, then you know what? First and second down, we stay ahead of the chains. We get a chance to stay on the field on third down. So if that affects the overall, probably going to affect the overall. But at the end of the day, I'd rather take a win over a 2-yard, discrepancy or whatever you got there.
As a follow-up on Sidney Jones, you applaud the fact that he's playing through the injury, but he's come off the field now twice since the return. Where do you stand on him going forward this season, and the cornerbacks overall? Where do you stand in that position?
Yeah, it's something we're going to continue to evaluate Sidney each day, make sure again that he's right, not only physically but mentally. I mean, it's a big part of it too, as I mentioned earlier. But yeah, I mean, from the standpoint of the corners, I mean, there's not a lot of depth there right now, and we just got to continue to evaluate that and see. But the other one we're hoping for is Avante Maddox, maybe this week. So we'll see where he's at too, and that would for now, well, just as an added safety nickel type player, and we'll see where he's at this week as well.
Okay.
Thanks.